Since 2015, I've worked over 32 freelancing jobs. And in today's video, I'm going to share the top 6 gigs that I would focus on if I were starting over in 2025. This is coming from someone who, in my highest grossing year, I made double what I made as a full-time assistant controller with an accounting degree. And I didn't need a degree to do any of these freelancing jobs. And I got to work when I wanted, from where I wanted, and with who I wanted to work. So I'm going to share my experience over these past 9 years, but I also researched every one of these freelancing jobs that I'm going to share. And so you'll get to learn what skills are required, the earning potential for each job, what the future demand is, and also the best way to get started with each one. And I can almost guarantee that you probably did not think of the last one that I'm going to share. So stick around to find out what that is, because it's one of the highest paid hourly non-degreed freelance jobs out there. So first of all, what is freelancing? Freelancing is doing any kind of work for an individual or a business or a company without committing to full-time income. And basically, here in the US, freelancers are considered contractors or self-employed individuals. And as a contractor, you get to make your own hours and take on the volume of work that you want to take on and work with clients that you want to work with. So if you're a stay-at-home mom like me, you can do work in between, getting your kids off to school or chauffeuring or sports or whatever your kids are up to. Or if you want to travel and be a digital nomad, or if you're just someone who wants to work from your couch in your pajamas and snuggle with your dogs all day, freelancing is a great way to earn an income and still have an incredible amount of time flexibility in your life. And I think all of these factors contribute to the fact that Payoneer found that freelancers actually have a 4.1 out of 5 job satisfaction rate versus employed individuals who have a 3.1 satisfaction rate. And if you're watching this video and you're thinking you're too late to the freelancing game, the fact is that the freelancing market is growing rapidly and there is absolutely no signs of it slowing down. And the future job demand that we're going to look at for each of the gigs that I'm going to share in today's video is going to be proof of that. Okay, so the first job I'm going to share is becoming a virtual assistant. So this is the first freelancing job that I ever took, and it's the same freelancing job that I still do 9 years later. Virtual assistants are crucial team members for so many entrepreneurs and business owners, whether that's a startup or an established business. Virtual assistants are often the right-hand person and help to do the daily operational tasks that keep a business running. Now, as a virtual assistant, some companies can hire you as a full-time employee, but most of the virtual assistants that I know either start out as a freelancer and then maybe get hired full-time, or just enjoy the freelancing aspect of virtual assistant, so just stay freelancers and contractors the entire time that they're doing the work. And basically, as a virtual assistant, you're going to be doing the same kind of work that you would be doing if you worked in person in office for a company or an individual. So think of someone like an office administrator or an administrative assistant or an executive assistant. A lot of the things that those roles might do as a full-time employee are the same types of responsibilities and tasks that a virtual assistant freelancer is going to do. And to be successful as a virtual assistant, you need skills like detail-orientedness, time management, organization, and strong communication. And like I said, if you've worked in other businesses in an office setting or behind the scenes, virtual assisting will be a really easy transition for you. Okay, now let's talk earning potential for a virtual assistant. Here in the US, the earning potential for a virtual assistant is anywhere from $15 to $100 an hour. And I know this because I've been doing VA work for the past 9 years, and I started out at $15 an hour. And now I actually make anywhere from $50, even upwards of to even $200 an hour, depending on how specific the support is that I'm providing for a client. Now, when I started out, the virtual assistant industry was pretty small and it's been steadily growing. But if you think like, oh my gosh, there's too many virtual assistants now, and how will I ever get a job as a virtual assistant? The job outlook going into 2030, which is only 5 years away at the time I'm recording this video, is expected to exceed $8.6 billion with a compound annual growth rate of over 22%. So there's still plenty of time to get started because this industry is still growing. Now, if you want to get started as a virtual assistant, there's a ton of resources out there. I actually have a services and pricing guide in the description below this video to help you get started. And that guide will help you figure out what services you can offer as a virtual assistant. And there's also a specific formula on how to set your pricing so that you don't undercharge and undervalue your services, but you also don't overcharge and price yourself out of getting clients. But of course, there's a ton of resources on the internet, whether you want to seek out resources on YouTube or there's virtual assistant programs and courses. And pretty much every software platform out there has customer support documentation so that if you're a self-starter and you want to start to learn systems that a virtual assistant uses, you can actually go ahead and do that on your own before even getting any clients. And I'm going to include some of my favorite tools that are in really high demand for virtual assistants to know. And so you can check those out in the description below this video as well. The second freelancing gig that I would focus on if I was just starting out in 2025 is funnel building. Funnel builders set up things like web pages, email marketing campaigns, automations, and integrations that help people market and sell their products and services. And like I said, being a funnel builder does require some technical know-how, but don't count it out if you're not technical yet, because I worked in restaurants and retail and accounting for years before I started my freelancing business. I even sold newspaper advertising for a period of time. And I did a lot of this before computers were as widely used or advanced as they are today. And so I would have considered myself to have very little to no technical experience before I started my business. And I was able to become really proficient in funnel building within just a few months of starting my business. In fact, a year or two after I started my business, I wound up running my own funnel agency with team members and contractors. And that's coming from someone who never would have considered themselves a technical person. So as a funnel builder, you'll want to learn technical skills if you don't already have them, but you're also going to want to understand things like customer experience and conversion optimization. If you have no idea what these things mean, just keep watching because I'm going to go over where you can learn about these in a second. But before we go there, let's talk about the earning potential for funnel builders. As a funnel builder, you can expect to earn anywhere from a couple $100 for a simple landing page or funnel, all the way up to $50K or more if you master funnels and become a full service funnel builder that offers services like copy, design, page building, automations, and stuff like that. The cool thing about funnel building, like I have a client now that builds out automated bot funnels and they charge $50,000 for one client to build out their funnels. The more businesses that come online, and those could be purely online businesses that are starting up online or brick and mortar businesses that are trying to get online, all of those businesses are going to need technical setup and funnels in order to attract, market, and sell to their clients. So the job outlook is really positive for funnel builders, and you can work in a variety of industries. So you can become a funnel builder for a super specific niche or industry, or you can develop a funnel skill that's really specific and niche, but that could work for a wide variety of industries. And the really cool thing about funnel building is there's so many low-cost software and some that even have free tiers that you can sign up for to start learning and practicing funnel building before you even approach clients. So for instance, in the link in the description below this video, I have a link to sign up for a completely free System.io account. And System is an all-in-one marketing tool. It's pretty easy to learn, and it's a really robust system that if you're just starting out would be great to like cut your teeth on learning funnel building. So you can look for systems like that have free or low cost accounts that you can sign up for, or there's also courses on platforms like Udemy or Coursera, of course YouTube, and those are the places where you're really going to want to learn about the user experience and conversion optimization. And there's also a great school, Conversion Excel, that has some pretty in-depth and advanced trainings if once you learn the basics, you want to grow your knowledge and master those skills. And again, when you know that kind of stuff, then you can charge a premium on your funnel building services. Okay, so the third freelancing gig that I would learn if I was just starting out in 2025 is bot automations. So bot automations can be things like setting up an automated workflow in something like ManyChat, where if a business was promoting themselves on social media and someone comments below their video, that triggers an automated message and conversation to that lead. Or it could be setting up chatbot automations on someone's website to field customer support requests. And again, just like funnel building, bot automations is very technical. So if you're someone who's coming from technical development or software development, this could be the perfect freelancing gig for you to start with. Becoming a bot automation specialist is similar in earning potential to a funnel builder. So as you start out, the earning potential might be a little bit smaller, but as you grow your skills and become more experienced, you can charge thousands of dollars just to set up a single bot automation. Or the client that I mentioned in the last gig actually is the person that charges $50,000 for a bot funnel, which basically takes their clients' leads through an entire sales process, and they charge $50,000 per setup. Now, when I researched Job Outlook for bot automation specialists, I found statistics ranging from 40% growth to up to 63% over the next few years. So with the explosion of like ChatGPT, that kind of brought AI more mainstream. Now bots are more of like a trending topic and system that people want to leverage in their businesses. So this is the perfect opportunity to get started in this niche. And to get started, literally you can Google and find courses for bot automation specialists. There's both certifications online, courses, and even degrees. But I've personally built bot automations in platforms like ManyChat without any technical degree at all. Okay, our fourth freelancing gig that I would start in 2025 if I was just getting started as a freelancer is YouTube management. So YouTube is the second largest social media platform right now. So there are actually 65.3 million creators on YouTube right now. And that's up almost 4 million from the beginning of 2024. So let me say that again, that's up, meaning there's been an increase in creators to the tune of 4 million creators since the beginning of this year. And new users to the platform is also expected to grow by over 25% over the next 4 years. So that means more creators are going to be getting onto YouTube, creating more content for all of the users that are going to be on there. And those creators are going to need people to run their channels. And that's exactly what a YouTube manager does. Depending on whether or not you want to offer full service YouTube management, you could be providing everything from research to scripting to thumbnail design and video editing and all the way through to actually publishing the video on YouTube. Or you could choose to niche down to any one of those specific services within the YouTube creator industry. And what you choose really just depends on what your current skill set is and what you actually want to learn or will enjoy doing. So for instance, I have been managing a particular client's YouTube channel, and then I launched my own YouTube channel, so I learned video editing. And so you could master a specific skill like that within YouTube, or learn to kind of be a generalist and offer full service or contract out the parts that you're not great at or don't want to learn. But upon researching the earnings potential for YouTube managers, a lot of recruitment sites said that the average salary for a YouTube manager was $150,000. And because these are recruiter sites, those are most likely reflective of a full-time employee's salary. But typically as a freelancer, you can actually charge more because the company is not taking responsibility for your benefits package, like health insurance or time off, and they're not paying your taxes. So that's a huge savings for companies and allows you to charge more as a freelancer than you would as an actual employee with a full benefits package. And so let's take video editing as an example, because that's something that I've done specifically. As a video editor, you can charge anywhere from $15 to $100 per hour. And so if you consider becoming a long form YouTube editor, that means you could easily charge over $1,000 per video that you edit. Now, the only, I don't want to say downside, but the only thing that's a little bit different about this gig than some of the other ones that I mentioned, but is a little bit slower paced, between 6 and 11% per year, but the average earnings for a YouTube manager is still about 39% above the national average. And getting started is actually pretty easy. I mean, first things first, you want to familiarize yourself with the platform, which if you're watching this video, then you're already off to a great start. But there are resources on platforms like Udemy that actually has its YouTube University. HubSpot has a free YouTube course. But start somewhere and start to build your knowledge, learn your skills, take on clients, learn the job. Because honestly, with any of these freelancing gigs, that's the best thing to do, is to actually start doing it and learning while you're getting paid for it. Okay, we've reached our last freelancing gig that I would start in 2025 if I was beginning again as a new freelancer. And I mentioned in the beginning, it's probably one that you wouldn't think of. So you can let me know in the comments if I'm right about that or not. But we're going to talk about becoming a data analyst. And when I said data, if you like automatically cringed, then this might not be the one for you. But don't go away just yet, because it might sound a little more intimidating than it actually is. If you're someone who loves numbers or easily recognizes patterns or is great at problem solving and is detail oriented, according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, data analyst job growth is projected to be over 23% over the next decade, which is significantly higher than lots of other freelancing jobs that are out there. And so as a data analyst, you'll be collecting, organizing, interpreting, or reporting on data for a business or company. And it's a really crucial role. As businesses become more competitive, they're going to need to make data-driven decisions. And so they're gonna need a data specialist on their team. And it's actually one of the top freelancing jobs, and it earns about $55 to $65 per hour on average. So that means as someone more experienced, you could charge more than that, or someone less experienced charge a little bit less. But like I said, don't be intimidated, because I have an accounting degree, and so I am good with numbers and analytics, but a lot of the companies that I've worked as a data analyst for, I'm not doing like a crazy complex calculations. I'm understanding what numbers they want to track. I'm figuring out where to pull those numbers from, how to organize them on a spreadsheet, and then report on them in a way that is clear and can make sense to the person that's reading that reporting. And then once I kind of learn more about the data itself and what it reflects, then I can come in and interpret it a little bit more and provide some recommendations and suggestions. So when I say I'm not doing like these crazy complex calculations, I'm helping people organize data around their social media analytics or their marketing statistics from all the different channels that they're marketing on. Or I'm pulling numbers from their sales data and working up formulas to figure out client retention. So this isn't rocket science. And if you're someone who can figure out how to set up a spreadsheet and leverage formulas, then it's definitely something you can undertake if you're someone who likes numbers and patterns and setting up these kinds of systems. And there's not that big of a barrier to get started with platforms like Coursera and Udemy. You can train yourself up and also research like certifications versus degrees for data analysis. And even just learning platforms like Excel or Google Sheets and how to do reporting on those systems help you learn a data analyst skill set. Okay, so you just learned 5 of my top recommendations for what gigs to get started with as a freelancer in 2025. These are the gigs that I would check out myself if I was just getting started in the coming year. And so I'd love to know which one piqued your interest, which one sounds like something that you would want to learn or that maybe you already have an existing skill set for. And make sure to keep your eye out for future videos, because as I said at the beginning, I've done over 32 freelancing jobs over the past 9 years since I started my business. So in upcoming videos, I'm going to be sharing my experience with what it actually looks like to be a freelancer in those jobs and how you can get started. So I'll see you in the next video.